You know what? I'm just going to go on ahead and say it because honestly, it's 100% true. Samsung QD OLEDs are the superior TVs for gaming. And yes, I have said it. The Samsung QD OLEDs are the superior TVs for gaming. And you might be asking yourself, well, why are the Samsung, why not LG OLEDs? Well, it's essentially because, for one, Samsung is using a new technology called QD OLED, which, if you're wondering what QD OLED is, it's basically equivalent of QLED and OLED basically put together in one gigantic TV. So you're not having to go to Best Buy and be like, oh, look at the LG C4 OLED, or look at the Samsung QN90D, side TVs where you're going to see one is brighter and then the other one is basically just more colorful and contrasty, but also not quite as bright. You're not having to decide between one or the other. You're basically getting both to where you're going to get that ultimate nice contrast and the nice, awesome brightness that you also get that an OLED has. So in reality, you're just going to be basically saving yourself money when you get a QD OLED Samsung. Now, there is another brand that does make QD OLEDs, and that is indeed Sony, but you're definitely going to be getting a lot less with a Sony than you will with a Samsung, which means you're basically only going to get two HDMI 2.1 ports. You're going to get basically higher input latency than you will get off a Samsung and LG, for an example, and heck, even to an extent, Hisense and TCL, even though they don't really make OLEDs or nothing, they're just strictly mini LED and full array TV brands. But you're basically going to get a lower input latency while having most that you can honestly play games with if you have a PlayStation 5, a PlayStation 5 Pro possibly, and an Xbox Series X, and you have a gaming PC, and you basically play all of them, I should say, like pretty much all three platforms, and you won't have to worry about plugging one into one other outlet that could be only 4K 60 and 1080p 120, whatever. You're basically going to be getting all of that on every single HDMI port when it comes to a Samsung QD OLED. So honestly, when it comes to pricing, and even with Samsung's top of the line QD OLED, which is the S95D, you're going to be getting much more better brightness than what you will get with the A95L Sony, with paying a lot less for, the item. You're going to be paying less price for it than you will with the Sony. So in reality, the Samsungs are just the overall best to basically play games on, honestly, when it comes to pricing and, all this. And yeah, so yeah, I know I couldn't figure out what to say there for a second, but yeah, it's just a win for Samsung QD OLED. But even LG's OLEDs are also good just as well, but in reality, you're going to be basically getting a much more newer but also better product when it comes to Samsung QD OLED, because LG, even though they have the G series with the new MLA technology, it's still basically not quite as good as what you would get with a Samsung QD OLED, and that is where the S95D is the better gaming option. Now, if you are just a casual person that just watches movies and TVs and you don't play video games at all, then yes, you will definitely be satisfied with either an LG B4, LG C4, or even an LG G4 OLED. You will be definitely satisfied. But if you are somebody that is a hardcore movie watcher and definitely somewhat either hardcore or casual while playing video games, the Samsung QD OLED TVs are just honestly the way to go. You're just not going to get better than that in terms of the quality, and then in terms of gaming performance, and then in terms of, brightness and color reproduction and all that. Like, dude, you're just not going to get any better than that. So honestly, I know there's a lot of people that literally say that LG OLEDs are definitely superior, and to be fair, they actually kind of are not. They're still quite good in quality and such. It's just Samsung has brought something new to the table with the newest, best technology out there being QD-OLED. Like I mentioned beginning of the video, is basically just a equivalent of QLED and OLED basically put together. And honestly, you're just not going to get better than that in terms of like the clarity, in terms of the brightness, and in terms of basically just contrast and everything, and colors. And to be fair, also, HDR highlights is another thing that I forgot to mention that also looks better on a QD OLED, as you can get better brightness, so the HDR definitely pops a lot more. So yeah, you definitely are going to be getting a lot more bang for the buck when it comes to Samsung QD OLEDs. Now, I know that this might make some people mad, and I don't mean to really make anybody mad, but in my experience with LG and Samsung OLEDs, especially when it comes to gaming and just wanting to watch TV, honestly, just the Samsungs are just the way to go. They're just the way to go, and who in the world would even pay like 2 to 3 times the price for basically a similar experience with a Sony, when the Sonys are definitely going to be more costly than what Samsung. Even if you get Samsung's top of the line, it's still going to be cheaper and also have better quality to it than what a Sony does. So yeah, honestly, even if you get an S90D, that's my most recommendation TV for the year 2024-2025. And honestly, I'm still rocking with our 2022 Samsung S95B, even though we got the S90C. And the S95B is still such a beauty of a TV. And honestly, I still love it and enjoy my gaming. As you're seeing with the game we're playing, The Last of Us, I enjoy gaming on it, and it is so incredible and still looks really beautiful and still really, really punchy. So yeah, you definitely are not going to get better than that. And all these fanboys, when it comes to like, LG and Sony and whatever, that's good. You can pay 3 times the price or 2 times the price from a Samsung QD OLED with a Sony and get a lot less features in terms of gaming, with basically only having 2 HDMI 2.1 ports and just having, a slightly higher input latency for gaming. So yeah, I mean, you could do that because honestly, I mean, it is your money, but honestly, just Samsung is just the way to go when it comes to OLED and all that. And especially if you are a hardcore gamer, then honestly, this is what I would recommend for all those gamers out there that love to play video games, because honestly, if you get one, like even if you get the S90D over the S95D, you still will not regret it. It is going to be like the best TV that you have ever bought in your life, and I don't expect the quality of new TVs in the next several years to get any better than this, because honestly, they're just good as it is. So yeah, when in terms of having a new technology and then in terms of pricing, I mean, Samsung is basically got you covered. Honestly, you're going to be spending less while getting just about the same experience, if not better, with more HDMI ports that can do 4K at 120 hertz and just basically, brightness and having affordability. So yeah, honestly, Samsung has just got everybody covered. So yeah, honestly, for gaming, there is nothing that will ever beat Samsung's QD OLEDs in terms of gaming and just picture quality all together, and to an extent for movies and just simply watching TV. Like, you definitely are not going to get nothing better than this. Like, this is just the best type of TV you can ever get. So yeah, I just figured I would make this video to talk with you guys about the Samsung QD OLEDs because there's people that are always arguing, fighting over like LG fanboys, Sony fanboys, but honestly, Samsung has just got people covered with basically having the best newest technology in TVs altogether, and as well as having a much more affordable price than even the Sony A95L. So yeah, but hope you enjoyed that video of us talking, technically a little bit of a rant, I should say. Hit that like button if you are new to this channel, and be sure to hit that subscribe button if you are also new, and we'll keep you posted with more content going forward. And you just let us know in the comment section down below of your thoughts if this helped you decide between the 3 brands as to when it comes to OLED TVs, or if you do prefer Samsung's QD OLEDs and definitely agree that they are the superior TVs out there in terms of the picture quality and the price point and just the overall brightness that you get with them, unlike the Sony A95L and to an extent even the LG B4 and C4 OLEDs. So just let us know in the comment section down below if this helped out and if you agree that Samsung's QD OLEDs are the superior TVs for gaming. But without further ado, that's going to pretty much wrap it up for Tech and Gaming Review. So hope you enjoyed the video. Rate, comment, subscribe, and we shall see you on the next one. Peace out.